I'm Sean Fairchild for Bass Gear Magazine, and today we're looking at Fender's first foray into the floorborne modeling processor market, the Tone Master Pro. Here we go! Fender constitutes what could be considered as a heritage brand. Heritage brands are things like Harley-Davidson, Levi's, Coca-Cola, companies that rose to prominence on their innovations, yet have settled into middle age in a decidedly more conservative manner. The Tone Master Pro bucks that trend, but does it in a Fender style, from the physical branding of the unit itself to the virtual collection of classic gear that it espouses. Look, it's no secret that we are a bass-oriented organization here at Bass Gear Magazine, and so it should be mentioned right up front that for all the Fender Tone Master Pro does offer, exactly none of those items is necessarily bass-specific. Not a single modern or classic bass amp, cab, or effect model is currently included as of the latest firmware revision in July 2024. However, there is one specific preset that is aimed at bassists. That's 127 Studio Bass, which uses kind of a generic tube preamplifier along with compression EQ. I'm going to play that for you right now. Here's what that sounds like. The Tone Master Pro has a lot in common with some of the other flagship floor processors of the season, including the Neural DSP Quad Cortex and the Helix floor. In fact, it shares roughly the same physical attributes, the same 7-inch touchscreen display flanked by 2 controls on either side, 2 rows of 5 foot switches as the Quad Cortex itself, but offers a little bit more I/O on the top panel, and of course incorporates these very convenient scribble strips next to each foot switch, which is maybe more reminiscent of the Helix. You're given 504 presets in banks of 8 to play around with, and 130 some of those come pre-populated by the factory. The hardware is very well built, it's very attractive, and I feel that it's worth noting that there was a lot of thought given to the presentation in and out of the shipping box that it comes in, to kind of give it the air of a top-of-its-class product. As mentioned before, since there is virtually no bass-specific programming here, not surprisingly, all of the tones on tap are geared entirely towards guitarists and definitely lean towards the overdrive distortion side of the spectrum, generally via amp or speaker cab voicings from a lot of the combo models that are included, as opposed to a more equitable emphasis on effects. In that way, the TMP could be described as a little bit more Kemper than Helix. Here's one of the stock presets that, if not meant for a bass player, at least has the word bass in it. This is 113 Bassman Creamery. Dig this low-mid fattening saturation it's got going on. The use case that I found the greatest utility in for what I do, for what I like to play, was essentially using the Tone Master Pro entirely as a virtual pedal board. It really does have some great effects on its roster, including an apparent model of the Boss PH3 phase shifter, which I love. I've owned that thing. I've bought and sold that thing like 4 times. Why have I sold that thing so often? The next time I get it, I should obviously just hold on to it. But specifically, they have included the step phaser mode of operation on the PH3, which nobody does if they include it in a processing model at all. And I love that sound. I love it so much, it was actually the genesis of an entire song that I recorded called O Discordia. There's also a Mutron clone. There's some great fuzzes and distortions available. There's a really great analog tape delay unit that I like the sound of a lot. In fact, I incorporated a few of these in a pedal board that I created that sounds great for some kind of classic prog rock sounds. Fender Tone Master Pro is undeniably a cool piece of gear. When you see it up close, from its slightly metallic automotive kind of finish, the knurling on the knobs, and you see the Fender design language kind of continue through it, it's easy to appreciate aesthetically, and it sounds fantastic. That being said, this is an item that's meant for a purely virtual connection scenario. There's no amp. If you're using this, you're probably not using an amplifier. If there's something that goes wrong with this on stage or something else that feeds into this, you can't just run back and connect a line into an amp. That's the whole point of having this. That being said, a 41-second time to initialize is a little bit inexcusable at this point. It's going to feel like an eternity if there's a voltage drop at the venue, if somebody accidentally, yanks out a power cord. That somebody has been me more than once. These things happen. I'm sure it's happened to you at a venue. So that is a potential oversight, but it may not be a problem for very long. In my experience, being a Helix user and using other processors, this is exactly the sort of thing that can be improved upon with future firmware updates. So potentially not an issue much longer, but something to be aware of. Among my only other difficulties in practical usage were the ease at which it might be possible to accidentally switch presets when you're stepping on the gig view button. This here is the gig view button that, if you press it straight on like that, just shows you a larger version of the preset that you're looking at. But if you accidentally slightly torque your foot while you turn it, you have switched presets. And if your preset is significantly different from the one that you were on, it might be quite notable. While certainly a flagship class product at this price point and this level of play, I can't personally recommend the Tone Master Pro to bass players who are the most interested in exploring the sonic territory and kind of industry standards that are normally associated with our instrument or our role. However, for people who double on guitar, for people who are a little bit more experimental like myself, I'm anything but traditionalist really, the Tone Master Pro might give you access to a huge room of classic, some of it quite vintage gear that you might never actually get the chance to play through in real life, and might just inspire you to do something unique and interesting. A lot of great gear throughout the years has found its best use separate from its intended use. Friends, we are once again at the end of another exciting installment of Check Out This Awesome Thing! With today's awesome thing being the Fender Tone Master Pro. Make sure to like and subscribe, and when you subscribe, make sure to hit that notification button so you are the first of all of your friends to be notified and get in the know about new gear. You're going to be so popular at parties. It's going to really work out for you. Everybody loves that guy and that gal. Yeah. All right, once again, I am Sean Fairchild for Bass Gear Magazine. See ya!